Oh, hi guys. Welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe. Thanks for tuning in to Rosenfield 10, where I cover our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints. Are you a who dat? Are you a who dat fan? If you're a who dat, subscribe to my channel. I love the Saints. I love talking about them. Think of me as a friend or a coworker who loves the Saints as much as you do. And when you see me or one of my videos, you say, hey, what you think about them Saints? And then you let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Today we're going to have fun. We are going to do a way too early 2026 mock draft for our beloved Saints. And what's interesting about this one and why I wanted to do it is I'm going to trade a bunch of players off before the trade deadline. And we're going to see what we can get. All right, this is for fun. This is for fantasy. This is not anything predictive at all. If you're not interested in having fun, then don't watch the rest of this video. I don't need to know how some of the trade compensation was unrealistic. Because when you go into these simulators, if a team decides to offer you a fourth round pick for, let's say, Nathan Shepard, then you take it. Now, is it realistic? Probably not. Then again, in reality, the Saints traded a fourth round pick for a wide receiver named Devon Vele, who might have been waived by the team that we traded with for. So, yeah, a lot of this is fantastic. Well, I don't agree with it. And you darn tootin' somebody gave me a fourth round pick for Nathan Shepard. So if anything like that turns you off, turn the video off. But if you're interested in having fun, because in reality, right now, the Saints are currently in the 2025 season, and we are 0 and 4. We're supposed to be one of the worst teams. The mock simulators have the Saints drafting at second overall right now. So, yeah, this is all fantasy. But I decided I wanted to take a look at it anyway, even though it's really early and a lot of the players are going to be on these boards in a different location by the time the draft actually comes up. The draft order is going to be different. The Saints might end up with the 16th overall pick if we start winning a bunch of football games. So, you know, the most fantastical part about all of this is right at the very beginning, we're allocated the number 2 overall pick. Maybe we don't get that in reality. But let's have fun. I wanted to see what we could get. I wanted to see what would happen if we traded off some of our assets before the trade deadline. And yeah, so these are the draft picks for the Saints. And it's not looking good. We've got 6 overall picks. We are missing our fourth round pick because we traded that for Devon Vele. We do have a fourth round pick in this simulation. That is an assumed comp- uh, compensatory pick for losing Paulson Adebo in free agency. Now, we don't get a fourth round pick for Paulson Adebo if Isaac Yiadom plays 30% or more of the snaps this season in reality. So there's a chance we don't even get this fourth round pick, but it's here for right now. Let's imagine Quincy Riley starts the rest of the year. Isaac Yiadom's relegated to special teams. We meet all the criteria and we get this bottom of the barrel fourth round pick. We're also missing a seventh, and that's for Devon Vele as well. No, actually, I think that might be the seventh round pick next year. But we are missing our seventh round pick this year either way. So there you go. We've got 6 picks. You trade a couple of players off. If this team keeps losing, and we're in a rebuild and we decide to trade some assets off that aren't part of our future, then yeah, we can do better than this. So here we go with the fun, and I want you to have fun with this because I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm saying this is what happened when I took a look at it and I decided to document all of it because I was interested in what was going to happen, and I was kind of shocked. And yeah, some of it's kind of unrealistic, like a fourth round pick for Nathan Shepard. So let's get this thing started. The Las Vegas Raiders. Now, okay, so when I approached this, the first thing I did was I looked at all of the teams picking in the top 10, and I looked at what their needs were. And I figured if I had an asset I could trade to them, then I can get, a good high level pick. If they gave me a fourth round pick, it would be a high fourth round pick, that kind of thing. So I'm looking at the teams choosing in the top 10, and the Las Vegas Raiders are interested in defensive line help. They're also interested in a quarterback. So I decide to send them Nathan Shepard and quarterback Jake Hayner. Now, if the Raiders in reality really wanted Jake Hayner, they could have got him at any point. I'm not saying he's a valued asset. I'm just throwing him in the deal. And this is how the first deal goes. I give them Nathan Shepard and quarterback Jake Hayner. They give me their fourth round pick 108. And they're also going to give me their fourth round pick 135. We do a pick swap here at the bottom of the fourth round where I give them 138. They give me 135. I'm moving up 3 spots. It's part of the deal. But really, that major compensation is the high fourth, 108 overall. That probably wouldn't happen for a Nathan Shepard and Jake Kaner, but that's the first trade I offered, and the simulation let it happen. The team agreed to it. So, all right, there you go. So these are the new picks the Saints have now. We've acquired an extra fourth round pick, and we slightly moved up at the bottom of the fourth round. All right. So what's something that we all are expecting? We're not going to pay Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed 25 to $30 million 2 years from now. Um, I'm starting to think Chris Olave is going to get traded. I think he's certainly one. I think you can just write it in ink right now. And you expect to get a second round pick for him. So I shop Chris Olave around, and the New York Jets decide they want to reunite Chris Olave with Garrett Wilson. So the Jets are going to give me a second round pick 36 overall, and they're also throwing in a fifth round pick 139. So the Jets get Chris Olave. We get an extra second rounder. We get an extra fifth rounder. And now this is what the draft compensation looks like so far for us. Yeah, we've got two twos, two fours. Now we've got two fives. Who else do I want to get rid of on this team? Well, there's some starters that I don't particularly care for. One in particular on the offensive line, and Cesar Ruiz. I've been flirting with the notion of trading him ever since we signed him to that big contract, like a year after. And yeah, what would you feasibly get for a starting right guard? PFF thinks he's one of the worst guards in the league. We don't particularly care for him here in New Orleans. But if a team's desperate for interior help, Cesar Ruiz can play center and or guard. So what do we get? Well, I was thinking a fourth round pick, and I had a few interested teams in a fourth round pick, but Tennessee was willing to give me their third round pick if I threw in one of my fives. And my fives are both pretty high. So this is what the trade looks like. Tennessee Titans are going to get interior offensive lineman Cesar Ruiz. They're going to give me their third round pick 69 overall. I'm going to give them my fifth round pick 141. And I'm going to pick up their seventh round pick. I don't have one. This makes the deal happen for me. Never thought I'd get a third rounder for Cesar Ruiz, but you give him a fifth, and yeah, I turned that four into a three by giving them a fifth. That's what happens. And now the Saints have two second round picks, two third round picks, two fourth round picks. All right, what's next? Who else is on the trading block for the Saints? Well, I think about the linebacker position, how we've got a lot of good youth and depth. And Demario Davis is a guy that a lot of teams would love to have. He's an older player. You might get some good compensation for him. I'm of the belief Davis is going to try to play till he's 100 years old. So I'm not trading Demario Davis away. I've got good youth at linebacker. I'm going to go ahead and trade Pete Werner away. Pete Werner's the guy that seems out of sorts in this defense, and he's a productive player, second round pick for the Saints. So I'm going to trade Pete Werner, and yeah, I'm looking for a fourth round pick for Pete Werner, and I get some interested buyers until the Rams come in. Now the Rams were a good team. They have bottom of the barrel picks, but they're willing to give me their bottom of the barrel third rounder for linebacker Pete Werner. And they're also willing to give me a fifth rounder. That's how the trade's going to go. The Rams are going to get Pete Werner. I'm going to get third round pick 90, and fifth round pick 165. And yeah, that's kind of crazy, but that's the way that works. And so now the Saints have three third round picks, and we're back to having two fifth round picks. All right, I've traded five players. This is as many draft picks as any team would hope to have. We've got 12 right now. The Saints will never make that many draft picks. But I have a couple of more things I'm willing to get rid of. Because right before I start the draft, I look at one last time at team needs, and I see that the Giants are in need of some offensive line help and some depth at cornerback. And I got a cornerback in Isaac Yiadom that I don't want. I've also got a center in Luke Fortner that is young and could possibly make the Giants if he plays well. And what's my compensation for cornerback Isaac Yiadom and center Luke Fortner? You'd be lucky to get a six-round pick. Nope, this simulation tells me the Giants are willing to give me a fourth-round pick for it. Now, maybe that's something in this NFL Draft Buzz simulation, and I used it for this because you can trade players before and during the draft. Maybe they just think you got a starter, you got players, a fourth-round pick. Maybe that's just the way it is. So, like I said, this isn't based in reality. And maybe I have a couple too many fourth round picks now. But that's how this trade goes. I don't not only get a fourth round pick, I get a sixth round pick from them as well, pick 185. And so that's it. That's all the players I'm trading. The Saints now have an insane 14 draft picks. And of course, Mickey Loomis, if he were to trade seven players away and get really good compensation for it, he'd probably package a bunch of this and move around in the draft during the draft. So, what are we going to do? We start the draft with these 14 picks, is what we're going to do. And let's see what happens. We're picking second overall. My number one player in the draft is right now is edge rusher Ruben Bain out of Miami. If I can get him with the second overall pick, I'm getting him. Is there a quarterback I'm willing to take this early? No, not right now. There's quarterbacks I like. There's quarterbacks I like in the first round, but not this high. So in this simulation, Cleveland drafts first, and with the first overall pick, Cleveland grabs edge rusher, defensive end Ruben Bain. So my number one guy's off the board. My pick comes up at second overall, and I'm getting a lot of trade offers for it. Is there somebody I'm willing to take? Well, yeah, there's a handful of players I like. I just don't like anybody with the second overall pick. My highest rated player on my board now is safety Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. And even though he may be a generational safety, second overall pick, I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on this. Next on my depth of great best player available are a couple of offensive tackles. And I don't think we're spending a second round pick on an offensive tackle. We're set at tackle. I'm looking at Peter Woods, a defensive tackle. Still kind of rich for a second overall pick. If I were to pick a quarterback at this point, it would probably be John Mateer out of Oklahoma. And yeah, I can't justify that right now. I just assume take Dante Moore out of Oregon. I don't know if either one of them is worth the second overall pick. Maybe by the end of this college football season, they would be. But I'm going to go ahead and entertain a trade down. I feel more comfortable doing that since the second round pick it seems to be too valuable to me at this point. It seems to be great for other players, other teams that need an offensive tackle. And yeah, the Los Angeles Rams want to get that second overall pick. They got an offensive tackle in mind that they want, and they're going to have to give me a king's ransom, and they pretty much do. So this is how the trade goes. I give the Los Angeles Rams the second overall pick, and in return, I get three ones, two twos, and a player. And that's a king's ransom of sorts. So this is how it goes down. The Rams have the 12th overall pick because they traded a player and they're going to end up with a really high draft pick. And they have their own first round pick at pick 26. So that's what's happening. They're giving me both their ones, pick 12 overall, pick 26 overall. They're giving me their second round pick, which is a low second round pick at 58. But they're also giving me their first round pick and second round pick next year. And they're giving me defensive tackle Kobe Turner. Now, I traded away Nathan Shepard, so Kobe Turner comes in, a better player, and immediately fills the gap. Yeah, this is too good for me to pass up, especially since I'm in that conundrum of who to pick with the second overall pick anyway. So thanks for the King's ransom, Rams. And now the Saints draft picks look like this. And yeah, it's insanity, but there's 16 picks here, and I'm going to make every last one of them. And we got a lot of needs to fill, so this will be fun. The draft continues. The Rams do draft that offensive tackle out of Miami that they wanted. And we have to wait. We trade out of the top 10 and we have to wait. John Mateer gets drafted in the top 10, along with Lenore Sellers at quarterback and Mendoza, the quarterback Mendoza. I think Drew Aller may have gone in the top 10 as well. So Mateer is not an option at 12. Dante Moore is still on the board at 12, but I'm going to go ahead and grab the best player at a position of need the Saints desperately need, and that's at wide receiver. With the 12th overall pick in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. Jordan Tyson's the number one wide receiver in the draft. We drafted Chris Olave around this pick, 12 or 14, somewhere around there. So now we get Olave's replacement, Jordan Tyson, Arizona State University, 6 foot 2 inches, 200 pounds. I'd like for him to gain a couple more pounds, but he's a tough dude. He makes excellent catches, not afraid to go in the middle of the field. He's got a couple of inches taller than Olave here, and this junior is going to be the first receiver taken in the draft. And we're the team that does it. We grab him with the 12th overall pick. And now trading away Chris Olave doesn't hurt as bad, right? I mean, you got to remember we have Devon Vele, we have Jalen Pope, we have Trey Palmer, and we still have Rashid Shaheed. We still have, oh, what's his name from Yale? Anyway, Jordan Tyson, first pick for the Saints. Now, the Saints were rumored to want to trade back into the first round last year to go after a quarterback. We stayed put in the second round and got a quarterback. This year, we don't have to trade back into the first round. We have a late first round pick with the trade we made. So, and my quarterback is still there, and that's where I'm going. With pick 26 in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Dante Moore, quarterback out of Oregon. Yeah, by the end of this season, he keeps playing the way he's playing. He might end up a top 10 quarterback in the draft, and the Saints may just take him with their top 10 pick. But right now in this simulation, he falls. I'm happy he does. He's 6'3", 206 pounds. He's looking really good. He's only a sophomore, so he's draft eligible. There is a chance he goes back. He keeps playing the way he's playing, there'll be really no need to for his professional future. And the Saints are happy to take him. So we end up with two first round picks, the best wide receiver and my favorite quarterback. I got Moore and Mateer kind of even right now. If both of them were on the board, I would take Mateer, but like I said, this will all change in reality by the end of the college season. So, but the Saints, there you go for two first round picks, wide receiver, quarterback, looking good. And yeah, I'm desperate for a cornerback. And I think with three second round picks, I'm going to be able to get one. And the one that I really want in this simulation is rated as a late second, early third round projection. So I didn't pull the trigger in the first round on him, but I'm not going to waste any more time. There's a little run on cornerbacks. And so with my first second round pick, I go and get the guy I want. With pick 34 in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Mansour Delane, cornerback, LSU. Yeah, I like this guy. He looks good. I believe when it's all said and done, he will be a first round pick. But I play I play a game and a waiting game and I get him. I'm not going to wait any longer. I think he was ranked like 70th overall in this simulation, and I'm not wasting any more time. I get him with pick 34. 6 foot, 190 pounds. He's a senior. He's definitely coming out. And like I said, he'll probably be a first round pick. I think teams will be clamoring for him by the end of the college season and going into this real draft. I think he'll be one of the sought after players. Now, last year, a bunch of really good cornerbacks fell into the second round. Trey Amos, Will Johnson, a lot of good cornerbacks fell into the second round. So it's not unheard of that we grab him here. According to the simulation, I should have waited and grabbed him even later, but I wasn't playing around. We need a cornerback. We need a starter, and that's the guy I wanted. And we got him. And two picks later, I decided to address another big need for this team at edge rusher. I would have gotten Ruben Bain with the second overall pick had he been available. And then after Ruben Bain, I have a group of 4 or 5 that I have roughly in the same place, and one of those guys is still on the board. And that's where I go with pick 36 in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select Cassius Howell, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Cassius Howell is a big play waiting to happen. I like him. I like his measurables. He's 6'2", 248 pounds. So he is a linebacker size. We are going to rush the passer with Howell. He's a senior. He's likely going to come out. Right now, he's got that late first, second round buzz. And yes, since we have two early second round picks, I'm able to cash in. So the Saints have filled 4 desperate needs already in this draft. And we're going to get another second rounder because we have that late second round from the Rams. And when that pick comes up, I go ahead and indulge in a defensive lineman who I thought would be off the board by now. I got him rated as a late first, early second guy. And in my opinion, he's a nose tackle type. Most teams don't address nose tackle till the second round, and that's where we're going to address it with pick 58 in the second round of the 2026 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. A big dude, 6'6", 330 pounds. Like him to be a little shorter than that. Can he get low enough? Can he maintain leverage? All this stuff. He's a big guy, and he's got long arms. He puts them arms up in the middle of that defensive line, and he's going to be a nightmare for quarterbacks. I also think those long arms will help him to dictate the offensive lineman in front of him. If he doesn't get perfect leverage, just get those meat hooks up and block the pass. But I like Caleb Banks, and I think he'll be picked before the bottom of the second round. But that's where the Saints get him. 6'6", 330 pounds. You worry about your depth there. Christian Boyd's an okay player. Now we've got a really talented big dude in the middle of the defensive line to challenge Boyd to be the eventual replacement for Devon Gottschall. And yeah, to keep that running game defense going strong. All right. Third round starts. We have three picks in the third round, including two early ones. And with the first third round pick, the Saints are super excited. I'm excited because this guy's probably going to get drafted in the second round. Now, I want a tight end. I want a tight end in one of the first, either the second or third round. I want an early tight end. Fourth round at the latest. I want a good tight end out of college. I want a guy to come in here, a young guy with some real talent that's going to be our starter. Somebody to challenge Foster Moreau as a complete tight end kind of deal. And I got my eye on the tight end, Max, uh, from Ohio State. What's his name? Claim? Something like that. Anyway, he's a big, complete tight end. He was drafted in the second round. But that leaves with the 66th overall pick in the third round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select tight end Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. Now, he's the number one rated tight end, but he's not a complete tight end. He can be. He's a strong dude. 6'3", 245 pounds. Remember, Juwan Johnson is 231. This guy's 245. A little bit lighter than Foster Moreau. 6'3". A solid player. He's not a bad run blocker, but he's really good as a receiver. I think he can develop into an overall tight end. I think he's got a second round grade, and I think getting him with the first pick in the third round's a pretty good deal for the Saints. So I'm excited to get him. Like I said, I would have gone with Max Clare. I think that's his name. But he was the first tight end taken, so I take Sadiq. In some simulations, Sadiq is a first round projection, so getting him at the top of the third round's pretty sweet. And we have to pick three picks later, and when that comes up, I go get a guy that, yeah, if he's still there in the third round, you just have to take him. Some teams might not know what to do with him. Maybe the stats don't translate, but anybody can see that he's a great player, including me. And with the 69th pick, giggity, in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Harold Perkins, linebacker slash playmaker from LSU. I think Harold Perkins could fit in the star role. I also think in the mix match kind of deal. I think that Harold Perkins gives you just enough where he can be, you know, not a liability in coverage from time to time, also play the linebacker position decently, but most importantly, rush the passer and to be that all important spy. You see, the star is supposed to be a nickelback, but I think that there's just a lot of in this Staley defense that there's a lot of opportunity for players in the middle of the defense, whether it's a safety, a linebacker, a cornerback, a nickelback. To have to be able to do a bunch of things, and you need an effective guy. Harold Perkins could be perfect at linebacker in this defense. 6'1", 222 pounds. He's a junior. 6'1", 222 pounds. I like Harold Perkins' speed and his athleticism, and I think you get a player like that, and you can just plug him wherever you want. You don't know where he's going to be lined up every time he's in the huddle, and then you can rush the passer with him. You can put him at middle linebacker. You can have him spy. You can have him play the star. You can have him cover the flat. So, great piece. Will Harold Perkins last till the third round? He lasts till the fourth round in these simulators. So, like I say, Perkins doesn't have a lot of stats to go back and look at and say, hey, look at this. We know he's a good player and we know his importance. So, I love it, especially for this defense. All right, something I have not addressed in this entire draft, and we're getting to the end of the third round, is offensive line. And when my Last third round pick comes up. There's an offensive lineman there that I like with the 90th pick in the third round of the 2026 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select interior offensive lineman Parker Brailsford out of Alabama. I drafted him in a few way too early mocks last year. He decided to go back to school. He's looking really good. He plays center. And I don't know if he translates into playing guard in the league or not. He's 6'2", 290 pounds. So he's a junior. 6'2", 290. So do I want Parker Brailsford playing guard for me, or do I want him playing center? Do I want Eric McCoy, after being an all-pro center, to actually move to guard, where he played guard in college? So there's a lot of options here. I wanted to get this player, though. Whether Brailsford, as a late third round pick, ends up our primary center backup and then takes McCoy's place eventually, or whether he finds a place at a guard spot, it's a piece to have. And yeah, maybe we can try different things. Maybe Brailsford can play guard. At 290, I don't know. I think Kellen Moore likes his big offensive lineman, but maybe we trade McCoy. I don't want to do that. But I went ahead and got Brailsford. I think for the value, it was good, and we'll figure it out later. All right, so day one and day two for the Saints are over with, and we get 8 players in the top 100, 8 players in the top 90. And it's a good draft. I think we hit on a lot of positions of need. So I like it. Now, let's go on to day three, where we have a ton of picks, 8 more, including 4 in the fourth round. And let's get started with pick 103. In the fourth round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Drew Shelton, offensive tackle out of Penn State. Shelton has a lot of ability. Early on in his college career, it was thought he would be an eventual first round pick. Now people are settling in and saying, well, probably day two. He's not having the great year. He's inconsistent. But he's too talented. I'm going to go ahead and grab him in the fourth round. We need another body at tackle, especially a backup. I want to get a guy in here that's going to be in our offseason program all year long and actually make the team. And with a fourth round pick, it's a possibility. So Drew Shelton is the pick. 5 picks later, with pick 108 in the fourth round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select another cornerback. Cornerback Keith Abney the second out of Arizona State. Uh, the measurables on Drew Shelton, by the way, 6'5", 304. So typical tackle size, 6'5", 305. He's a senior. So let's talk about cornerback Keith Abney the second, Arizona State, 6 foot, 190. He's a junior. We've already drafted a cornerback in Mansoor Delane because we needed a number one cornerback, but I'm not satisfied with Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alontae Taylor. We may not re-sign Alontae Taylor, and I've already traded away Isaac Yiadom. So Keith Abney's going to come in here as a fourth round pick, and he's going to compete to get some playing time with Quincy Riley and with Kool-Aid McKinstry. And if Abney can, you know, be better than Isaac Yiadom, then hey, we got us a nice little cornerback room now. You can never have too many cornerbacks. We have one more pick in the fourth round. Pick 135 overall in the fourth round of the 2026 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select safety Bud Clark out of TCU. Bud Clark's an interesting player. I like him. 6'2", 185 pounds. Wish he would bulk up a little bit. But he's quick. He's a senior. He's got a lot of football under his belt. I want to get another piece of safety. I'm not satisfied with fifth round pick Jordan Howden. I'm going to go ahead and get this late fourth round Bud Clark. And we're going to have some competition. We know Jonas Sanker's a stud. Justin Reed, not so much. Maybe we re-sign Julian Blackman. Remember, Justin Reed's making over 10 million a year. We signed him to 3 year, 30 something million dollar contract. So Justin Reed, you hope he becomes something. I think we resign Julian Blackman next year. And then you go ahead and draft a safety in the late fourth round, and then maybe Jordan Howden becomes expendable. Or maybe you can trade Justin Reed or something. I don't know. All right, let's go into the fifth round. And one of my favorite picks, with pick 139 in the fifth round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select wide receiver Chase Roberts out of BYU. I love Chase Roberts. It's an interesting dude. If you can get on day three, I think it's a steal. 6'4", 210 pounds. I like the way he's built. He's not the most athletic guy. Doesn't blow you out of the water. He's a senior. What happens is he makes these great catches. He makes weird catches. Like he can contort his body a certain way and still grab the ball. And he can make all the catches. 6'4". He can move. He's not the most athletic guy. He's gonna last till day three. But he's a playmaker. He's a white wide receiver. And I'm gonna take a chance on him in the fifth round. 6'4", 210. I like it. I think he's the kind of guy that can make a play for you. If he has to step up and play a game, get extra playing time due to injuries, I think he can make plays happen. I like Chase Roberts. This might be my favorite pick in the whole draft, just from where it happened, even though the two kids from LSU are sweet. And with my second fifth round pick, pick 165 overall, the New Orleans Saints select Le'Veon Moss, running back out of Texas A&M. This is a good player. He's a pretty quick guy. He's not huge. He's 5'11", 210. So he's tough. He's a senior. The starting running back for Texas A&M. He's a Louisiana native. So we're going to bring him back home with this fifth round pick. Le'Veon Moss seems like a scat back kind of guy, but he's got some thickness to him. So I think he's going to fit well. If you see the foreseeable future of this Saints running attack as Kendre Miller and then the kid we drafted from Kansas, Devin Neal, you got yourself a little extra, scat back type. Devin Neal can be more of a between the tackles guy. Le'Veon Moss can be your break it on the outside guy. All right, three more picks to go. Two in the sixth round with pick 180 in the sixth round of the 2026 NFL Draft. The New Orleans Saints select DJ Campbell, offensive guard out of Texas. I believe when it's all said and done, Campbell's going to be an early day three pick, maybe jump into day two. You know, Texas is a big program, a lot of ability here. In this simulation, he falls. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab him. DJ Campbell is 6'3", 321 pounds. He's a senior, so he got to play with Kelvin Banks last year and probably the year before that. So reunited, it feels so good. Can Campbell be good enough to break into the starting lineup? I don't know, but yeah, I wasn't going to pass him up. I was shocked he was still there. I've drafted Campbell before in the fifth round, fourth round. So sixth round, yeah, my guy, and he's 321, so he's a big guy. He's definitely going to fit at guard. And five picks later, with pick 185 in the sixth round of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select another offensive lineman, Trey Zoom the third, out of Texas A&M, and that makes my third Aggie. I wasn't trying to do that. The Aggies are hot and cold right now, but Trey Zoom the third is a decent offensive tackle. 6'6", 319 pounds. He's a senior. When you get to being a senior and you still haven't reached the potential everyone thought you'd have, and it's no telling where you're going to go. Like you start at a program for a few years at tackle, you become a senior, you're expected to be a first round pick, second round pick, and some of these guys just aren't there. Talented in the SEC, but a day three guy. And I go ahead and get some at the bottom of the sixth round or in the sixth round. So I'm stoked with that. And my last pick 218 in the seventh round. I'm going with defensive tackle Bear Alexander out of Oregon. And that's my third player from Oregon. So I got three from Oregon and three from Texas A&M. Huh. Bear Alexander is an interesting player. 6'3", 302 pounds. He's a junior. He may want to go back to school and, try to get his stock a little higher, but he's an interesting player, and I'm going to plug him on the defensive line with my new piece in Kobe Turner. And then we've added Caleb Banks and now Bear Alexander. So that is my crazy 2026 mock draft for the New Orleans Saints. And here's the big board. 16 players. I know it's all too fantastical, but you saw what happened. We traded a bunch of players away. We traded out of the second overall pick, and we end up with this great haul here, including Jordan Tyson at wide receiver to go along with Chase Roberts at wide receiver. Two big guys. Tyson 6'2", Roberts 6'4". Tyson's going to be your number one guy, and Rashid Shaheed and Devon Vele can play opposite of him, and we'll see if Chase Roberts wants to get into the mix along with Brandon Cooks. And yeah, Olave's going to be playing with the Jets. Then we get Dante Moore. And Dante Moore is going to come in here as a quarterback and immediately challenge whoever wants to be our starting quarterback. I think Moore has a lot of ability, and I think it's going to be another dang competition. But he's a first round pick, so do you have to start him? Probably so. So maybe our quarterback of the future is Dante Moore. In the second round, we get cornerback Mansour Delane, and later on pick up cornerback Keith Abney the second. So we're adding two cornerbacks, and we also got a safety in Bud Clark. So three pieces for the defensive backfield, including a guy in Delane who we expect to start, and a guy in Keith Abney who we expect to be a better fourth cornerback than Isaac Yiadom. Fourth round pick right out of the gate. Is that a lot to ask for? No. We got edge rusher Cassius Howell on the defensive line slash linebacker spot. Cassius Howell is going to rush the passer, and we also got Harold Perkins, a true linebacker type, is going to rush the passer as well. So Howell and Perkins are going to be coming after the quarterback, and I like that. We needed some pass rush. We need to get some sacks, some pressures. And we also picked up Bear Alexander and Caleb Banks as defensive linemen with Kobe Turner. So addressing the front. I like it. I like it a lot. At tight end, we pick up Kenyon Sadiq in the third round, and I believe he's going to be a better overall player than Jawan Johnson. Jawan Johnson at 231 is never going to be a great run blocker. Sadiq is 245, 241, 246, something like that. So probably get better run blocking production from Sadiq. And as a wide receiver, Sadiq's already proven to be really good at that. Offensive line, we've got Parker Brailsford as an interior guy and DJ Campbell out of Texas. And then we got Trey Zunn as an offensive tackle and Drew Shelton, a couple of tackles. So I drafted four offensive linemen overall: Parker Brailsford, Drew Shelton, DJ Campbell, Trey Zunn. Hopefully, this will be better depth than what we currently have on the offensive line. And we pick up a backup running back in Le'Veon Moss, fifth round pick. It's a good haul. Way too many players for the Saints to actually draft. If Mickey Loomis actually traded players away and acquired extra picks, he'd probably package them and move. Remember, he traded away a player last year and got two extra picks, and we actually used those picks. So anything is possible. The impossible is possible. Personally, I think the Saints are going to win too many games to be picking in the top five. Just remember, we only won five last year, and we picked ninth overall. So if we are a five-win team this year, we're probably not picking in the top five. So can we win four games? Can we only win three? Is that what's going to happen? I think we would have to be a two or three win team to be in the top five. So here's the simulation, the first of many that I will do. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to cover the Saints. I'm doing a preview of the upcoming Giants Saints game as soon as the injury report comes out for Thursday. And I hope you enjoyed this and subscribe because I'll be doing a lot more. We'll be doing them throughout the season and, of course, during mock draft season as well. And we talk about the Saints all the time. So if you're a Houdat, subscribe. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Houdat!